Breakfast Central it is. The front pages of the newspapers definitely is what we are handling next. We do have our guests in the house. We have publisher of the niche newspaper, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi, joins us this morning. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning,
welcome, Mr. Amaechi. I have to say that, I don't know if I've said it before, you're one of my favorite analysts, and I've never told any other analyst this. But I just want to refresh your memory to tell you that you are my favorite analyst.
Mr. Amaechi knows that you are a liar.
Only we tell you that's a lie.
A liar and you have no truth in you. I don't tell lies. That's the one thing you must know. Me, King Paro. All right, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, let's go straight to the papers. We have a lot to talk about. Let's start with this, Nigeria. That will be our very first paper for today, this morning. Executive Order 9, the fight is against impunity in oil industry, not PIA. NAPTIP warns Nigerians against fake overseas job offers, and I think that's very key. We've seen recent issues, videos popping up.
$5,000 a month, then you end up in the front lines in Ukraine.
Exactly, exactly. Then you end up dying. And then the other one, $2,500 in a month, and then you end up being a call girl somewhere, somehow,
that's
in another country. Yeah. Federal government justifies action amid misgivings. Stakeholders fear anarchy over constitutional breaches. That's concerning the Executive Order 9. But let's take this one. El-Rufai sues ICPC, alleges unlawful raids, demands 1 billion naira in damages. Let me start off with our very first story, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi. I'd like you to look into first of all, what's your take? What's your overview of the elections, the FCT, River State, by-elections, and so on? What's your take?
What is there to say? APC swept the polls, according to INEC.
You don't believe?
It's not a question of believing or not believing. You know, what we've always argued is to ensure that the process, look, if the process is credible, for all I care, if Nigerians say they are okay with their situation today and they want to continue with the APC-led government, fine and good. The one in Rivers and that of Kano, I may not have much to say, but in the Federal Capital Territory, the local governments there or the councils there, the jury is still out. And Olive, I think my major problem is not this. It is that there is this perception of motion without movement.
A rocking chair.
Every time we still come back to square one. And what do I mean by that? The usual allegations of alterations on Form EC8, whatever it is called, the late arrival of INEC officials, the intimidation. I watched the candidate of ADC in the AMAC yesterday on television, and he was saying that one of his agents was killed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was killed.
Musa Abubakar.
And what was his crime? He insisted that the result, as was reflected in the votes of the people, must be respected. And they killed him. The guy has been buried. And the country has moved on. So you see all these things happening every day. We say we are making progress, yet at the end of the day, we still come back to the same square one. Everybody is now saying they are going to court and all that. And let us even look at the election. itself. The minister of the Federal Capital Territory who sees himself as the Governor General of FCT announced restriction of movement. Yet, on the day of election, this man was going from one polling booth to the other. In what capacity? Inspector General. He is not an INEC official. So why must he be going from one polling booth to the other? We allow all these impunities now to go on. And of course, what people are saying now that he is the master tactician, he's the strategist, he is the political juggernaut. And they are praising him to high heavens. Now, even on the election day, so, okay, what that restriction of movement entailed was that there are people who, okay, I'll give you an example. I vote just across the street, this Otodola estate. That's where my polling booth is. That was because I registered when I was editor of Daily Independent.
Close to work, yeah.
In a close to work. Now, I can still come around to vote because
media.
I have my pass as a journalist.
Yeah.
So imagine if I have relocated to the island like Joe. If I become a big boy now,
Hey.
and I now live on the island,
Like Joe and Olive.
how will I vote? And that was many people that work in Amac, they don't live within the city center.
They don't.
Most of them live
Walada.
in the suburbs. Some even live in Nasarawa State.
Yeah.
Now, when you restrict movement, how will they vote?
True.
Of course, they won't come out.
Disenfranchise them.
Yet, the man who imposed restriction of movement was there all over the place, which amounted to subtle intimidation. Now, what else will he say? Of course, there has been this issue of vote buying, which was on all fours, as it were. If you talk to them, they will tell you, no, it is every candidate now does it. But you'll be sure that the government that is serious about sanitizing our elections should not go on that blanket excuse of everybody does it. So, how did elections go? So. We are still where we were 3 years ago, still where we were in a dual election, still, if you are not satisfied, you go to court. And we all know that going to court, for me, is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. So, I don't know how we are going to do it. I don't know what the opposition thinks it will do. But the augury is so stark that, okay, and they said only 15% voter turnout. Of course, some people are saying that it is even an improvement because in 2022 that it was 9% or so. But how can 15% voter turnout, for crying out loud,
It's abysmal.
be anything to
Celebrate.
to celebrate? And it's going to be worse in 2027. I'm not a prophet of doom, but it's going to be worse in 2027. Because
How?
many people are not prepared now to come out. Many people. And
But the people keep complaining about the state of things. If they don't vote, then they are also part of a problem. Isn't it logical for them to come out, even to vote in protest against their current state? If they don't vote, it means they're enjoying the current state of things.
What if your vote does not count?
Another angle, because they just feel like I'm coming to mark attendance.
Said their votes didn't count.
Which needs to be corrected.
No.
If Nigerians come out in their high numbers.
Benga, I have been around. I've been around. And not only been around as a citizen voting, I'm a political reporter. I was once the political editor of Daily Independent. I've been a political reporter all my life as a journalist. So I know what the issues are. I know that even in 2027, no politician worth his onions in Nigeria cares about the people. The calculation, INEC officials, who is coming, the security, and all that. That is where they spend the bulk of the money, not on the voters. Look, I don't like living a lie. I don't like lying to myself. Unless and until we decide that credible election is the only pathway to a true and real democratic experience, we'll continue deceiving ourselves.
So the newly passed Electoral Amendment Act does not guarantee free and fair elections?
I mean, with the 50, now parties can spend up to 500 million. And then you have the governor of...
electronic transmission, but not real time.
Did it guarantee the one they did in Abuja last Saturday? After that one was supposed to be a test run. If what Dr. Paul Moses said yesterday on television, if it is anything to go by, he said up till that yesterday that all the results are not
on the IRF portal.
On the IRF portal, and that is Abuja. And that is Abuja. 2-3 days after, results have not been posted on the IRF, and you're talking about the collation was still manual. We have instances where the results that were announced, the man who was announced to have scored the highest votes, the numbers that were credited to him were far higher than the total number of registered voters. In that, so how do we continue going round and round and round and round in circles and expect that we will be doing the same thing and expect a different result?
How do you respond to people, especially members of the ruling party, who say these are sour grapes? But we'll talk about it when we come back from this break. Do stay with us. Breakfast Central continues shortly. You're welcome back to Breakfast Central. If only people knew what happens behind the scenes when we go on the break. No, I'm just, is this Abuja issue you're still bragging about? Well, you now go to space and become an astronaut. We'll know here. Joe and I will leave the sets for you. Abuja.
I don't know why you are.
I travel to Abuja. But you're welcome back, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi.
I just recollect for sure this morning.
I mean, I'm looking for the positives to pull out of the Abuja
Nigerian Tribune. Let's go to Nigerian
exercise.
Tribune.
But it seems there are hardly any positives. And, you know, members of the ruling party will say, oh, sour grapes, you're just crying foul. Do better next time. But let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. And I want us to also repeat that video of the MD of FAN speaking about the inferno, because that happened at the airport in Lagos. For a minute, I thought, wow, I thought Mexican cartels. What's the name of that man again?
El Moncho.
El Moncho.
I thought he was in Lagos, but we're glad there were no casualties and things were fixed. So Lagos airport fire, 6 injured, 14 trapped persons rescued. Inferno started from server room, says FAN airspace temporarily closed, airport has reopened. Some flights were diverted to Equatorial Guinea, to Malabo and other places. Can we take a look at the video of the FAN MD before we get Mr. Ikechukwu's reactions?
As you rightfully said, we were also alerted about a fire incident at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, which you can see right behind us. Immediately, the Fire and Rescue Service of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, along with all other emergency agencies, actually swung into action. We activated our emergency operating procedures immediately, of course, in line with the Nigerian Civil Aviation regulation, to ensure that we can control the fire. But immediately, I think the first point of contact is to make sure that we can safely, we can save lives and make sure that there were no incidents within the airport. We have safely evacuated everyone from the terminal at this time. We did have a few of our air traffic control members. There were about 12 of them that were left behind because we had about 4 flights that were still landing. Luckily, we were able to coordinate and get them out safely with the help of all of the security agencies that are here with us today. So far, I'm grateful for the effective coordination. We got support from both the federal government and the state government. We have various agencies. So outside of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, we have NEMA, LASEMA, we have the Air Force, we have the police, IRS, and a host of other agencies here. But what I can safely say is that we had no casualties. We did have about 6 injuries, of which they're all in stable condition. So far, our operations have been affected for a couple of hours. I can say that about 3 flights were diverted. The British Airways flight was diverted to Abuja, while the Lufthansa flight was diverted to Malabo, as well as Emirates. As of now, we are setting up our emergency operating center is actually active. We have everyone that should be there, along with the AOC and representatives of all of the security and safety agencies. We've also started setting up a remote tower. That remote tower should be up in the next 20 minutes.
So there you have it, Mrs. Kuku, the MD of FAN, speaking about the incident. Mr. Amaechi, what's your take on the federal government's response and the fire service, the coordination and the infrastructure you saw?
I think it was excellent, if you ask me, that we had such fire incident of such magnitude, and there were no fatalities in the first place. The 12 people that were trapped were rescued. Minor incidents of injuries and taken care of. But the promptness and the way. And look, the MD of FAN, who we just saw now speaking, Mrs. Kuku, seems to be on top
of the situation.
And on top of the game, as it were. So 3 flights diverted, 1 to Abuja, and 2 to Malabo. Shows that people reacted in real time, and that is why the damage was minimal, and the disruptions did not last forever.
And it didn't also leave room for rumors. Communication was timely effective. Yeah.
She was there to speak to all the issues. And nobody was left in that as to what happened, what steps we are taking, and what to look at for going forward. So I give kudos to the management of FAN and all the other agencies, and then of course the firefighters that also mobilized to ensure that everything was brought under control.
Okay. Still on the front page of the Tribune, we will establish state police, Tinubu reaffirms, says Nigeria is out of the woods economically. But I would want you not to take my word for it. I believe we have that video,
we have the video
of the president, so you can establish what he was trying to say exactly.
You know, he was also, that statement
me.
was also made, I mean, you took it during the news.
Yes.
The president also had mentioned that Nigeria's out of the woods, and then that was after when they broke the fast. But let's take a listen.
The wood, we are out of the dark tunnel of uncertainty. The economy is showing up. Let's help those unemployed. What I promise you is not to be postponed. We will establish state police to combat the insecurity.
Usually often that the Muslim fasting and Christian fasting coincides at a time. I think we had one 33 years ago. This convergence.
All right. Let's get back into the conversation by hearing from Salisu, who's calling from Kano. Good morning, Salisu.
Mr. Amaechi, are we out of the woods, or is he referring to Tiger Woods or something else?
The president is campaigning for 2027. He is still in the campaign mode, which he never left, even after being declared the winner of the 2023 election. So at every given opportunity, I think it was last week that I said it here.
Yes.
How come that all we hear, we will, not we have done, which should be after 3 years, on the eve of the next elections. Because now, by the way, the youth in Kogi State said they have raised 100 million
for his ticket.
Yes, youth, so the same Kogi.
Very loving.
So they
very benevolent youth.
So
that's the second youth. The other ones were from
no, it was Kogi State, the same Kogi State.
Okay, same Kogi State. They raised,
yeah, they raised 100 million
during the youth gathering.
Yes, and I think that is it should be applauded.
Yeah.
You know, their dedication to the government of the day, that they put 100 million together for his presidential ticket.
They love
their president.
Yeah.
They love their president. But look, now going back to the issue, you see, at every point in time, the president is telling us he's going to declare a state of emergency on insecurity, state police, and all that, This issue of state police, I thought that had been...
What's delaying it?
Settled. Because this is about the third or the fourth time the president is going to tell us about the issue of state police. This is the president. All the president needs to do. The other day, he signed Executive Order 9.
NMPC.
The other day, he signed into law the electoral reform. Less than 24 hours after the bill was passed.
Without the Attorney General looking at it too.
So what stops the president or the presidency from drafting an executive bill and taking to the National Assembly? And don't forget, this is a National Assembly that changed our national anthem within
less than 48 hours.
So if the president drafts an executive bill today on this issue of state police to get an enabling law, I can assure you this National Assembly will do it in less than 24 hours. So what is stopping him? If he does not want to travel through that route, why can't he issue an executive order like he did with the petroleum
to activate it?
So why are we every time state police will, I can assure you the promise I made, what is stopping him? When the president says that we are out of the woods, you know, there are two different things, the micro and macro economies. He sits down to say inflation rate has dropped from 30-something% to 15.10.
The Naira is stable.
The Naira is stable or gaining strength.
Against the dollar.
Against the dollar. Our foreign reserves is now at an all-time high, 5 years or 6 years at $40-something billion. But what of the micro level? Is there any Nigerian whose life has changed fundamentally? Is there, look, has the house rent, can people still afford it? Can people who, as civil servants, were able to buy Tokumbo cars 3-4 years ago, can they still do that today? Even when he claims he has doubled the minimum wage from 5,000 naira to 70,000 naira. A bag of cement that was 10,000 naira about 2 months ago is now 11,000 naira or more, depending on where you buy. Is there any honest civil servant that can build a 2-bedroom bungalow today based on his salary?
Impossible,
so, what are we talking about? He spoke, I didn't even understand what he said about unemployment, those who are unemployed, and he veered off. So, what is unemployment reducing? Is it part of the achievements? Look, when we sit down here and mount what IMF and the World Bank and all that, the reforms are working. Nigeria is the 3rd largest economy in Africa now. It is the 10th country with the GDP growth in the world. For crying out loud, let us look at the people whose life is better today than it was 3-4 years ago, unless those who are in government. And now I said it here last week, this is a president who told us in September that he met his revenue target, that the federal government met the revenue target in August. Until the Minister of Finance came out to say, look, of the 40 trillion naira they have been able to do about 10 trillion. Nigerians are cutting Mr. President so much and he's getting away with all this propaganda. It cannot help. You don't run a country on propaganda. You run a country based on the facts, and we removed subsidy, so more money is coming in. But we are still borrowing every day.
Number 3, rather. The 3rd most borrowing, most borrowed.
And you ask yourself, what are we doing with all those funds? The capital budgets of the ministries of the...
They are not being met.
MDAs are not being funded. For crying out loud, a ministry with 200 billion capital budget said it got only about 35
so
million.
Where is all the money going?
So where is the money going? Why are Nigerians not asking questions? So when the president says we are out of the dark tunnel, you ask yourself, which tunnel? How did you come out of the dark tunnel? When we speak, people say, you don't like Mr. President. How won't I like the president of my country? If Nigeria is working as it should work, all of us will be better for it. If I can comfortably pay the school fees of my children, if I can comfortably pay my rent, if I can use a car for 3-4 years, and if there's a need to change, I can afford to get something better, why wouldn't I want the best for my country? Because if it is good for Nigeria, it will be good for all of us.
True.
So nobody has Mr. President, but the policies he's pursuing, they are not people-friendly. And you can't also be telling the people to tighten their belts every day, when those in government are living large. If this poverty is fairly distributed, okay, you can say, okay, this is what the government is doing, and the belt tightening is everywhere. So let us cue into what the government is doing. The government is not tightening its belt. The officials of state are living large, and you can see it.
Convoys,
flying first class, buying private jets, buying yachts, and you are telling the people
to tighten their belts,
enduring, to tighten their belt, that you are out of the dark tunnel. How?
That's why I don't even wear belts anymore. I prefer suspenders.
Okay, let's take some comments from
as
you.
we wrap up.
I don't know if we have time to take comments from YouTube because we're already out of time, but let's see if I can quickly squeeze in one or two comments. Olumide Alade says, no, actually, he says, take this seriously as even person. Okay, no. That's not where his comment began. In a country where 10 million naira cannot even bring a 2-bedroom bungalow to the roofing stage, the reality speaks louder than any analysis.
It can't.
Kudos to the guest speaker.
Foundation and a few things.
Exactly.
And landscaping.
Parasamako says, good morning, wonderful team of News Central. I greet you all especially. You are all amazing. Please, without real-time electronic transmission of results, without consequences for misbehaving, without consequences for mutilation of forms, we are not ready for 2027. No. Can you go to bank and submit mutilated check for withdrawal?
True.
You have a beautiful day, everyone. Very key question.
They will arrest you.
Very quick key question asked there. Chijoke Nwazurume says, CCTV camera is your security. Even government knows them and spares them, rehabilitates blood-sucking criminals. This is a response to the conversation we had earlier with Onyekachi to talk about insecurity in Nigeria. And final comment I can take, Olumide Alade says, although poor road infrastructure has caused many accidents, we must also address the dangerous habit of tankers, trucks, and bus drivers creating content while driving. Government and the media should take this seriously.
I saw one of those streamers, 2 phones, and driving. I mean, all sorts of rubbish is that. But anyway, thank you so much.